Bipolar disorder. From Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. Bipolar disorder, previously known as manic depression, is a mental disorder characterized by periods of depression and periods of abnormally elevated mood that last from days to weeks. If the elevated mood is severe or associated with psychosis, it is called mania. If it is less severe, it is called hypomania. I'm going to be eating some licorice. It's terribly soft Australian licorice. It's really good. During mania, an individual behaves or feels abnormally energetic, happy, or irritable, and they often make impulsive decisions with little regard for the consequences. There is usually also a reduced need for sleep during manic phases. During periods of depression, the individual may experience crying and have a negative outlook on life and poor eye contact with others. The risk of suicide is high. Over a period of 20 years, 6% of those with bipolar disorder die by suicide, while 30 to 40% engage in self-harm. Other mental health issues, such as anxiety disorders and substance use disorders, are commonly associated with bipolar disorder. While the causes of this mood disorder are not clearly understood, both genetic and environmental factors are thought to play a role. Many genes, each with small effects, may contribute to the development of the disorder. Genetic factors account for about 70 to 90% of the risk of developing bipolar disorder. Environmental risk factors include a history of childhood abuse and long-term stress. The condition is classified as bipolar 1 disorder, and there has been at least one manic episode with or without depressive episodes, and bipolar 2 disorder if there has been at least one hypomanic disorder but no fully manic episodes and one major depressive episode. It is classified as cyclothymia, and there are hypomanic episodes. With periods of depression that do not meet the criteria for major depressive episodes. If these symptoms are due to drugs or medical problems, they are not diagnosed as bipolar disorder. Other conditions that have overlapping symptoms with bipolar disorder include attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, personality disorders, schizophrenia, and substance use disorder, as well as many other medical conditions. Medical testing is not required for a diagnosis, though blood tests or medical imaging can rule out other problems. Mood stabilizers, lithium, and certain anticonvulsants such as valproate and carbamazepine, as well as atypical antipsychotics such as aripiprazole, are the mainstay of long-term pharmacologic relapse prevention. Antipsychotics are additionally given during acute manic episodes, as well as in cases where mood stabilizers are poorly tolerated or ineffective. In patients where compliance is of concern, long-acting injectable formulations are available. There is some evidence that psychotherapy improves the course of this disorder. The use of antidepressants in depressive episodes is controversial. They can be effective, but have been implicated in triggering manic episodes. The treatment of depressive episodes, therefore, is often difficult. Electroconvulsive therapy, ECT, is effective in acute manic depressive episodes, especially with psychosis or catatonia. Admission to a psychiatric hospital may be required if a person is at risk to themselves or others, and voluntary treatment is sometimes necessary if the affected person refuses treatment. Bipolar disorder occurs in approximately 1% of the global population. In the United States, about 3% are estimated to be affected at some point in their life. Rates appear to be similar in females and males. Symptoms most commonly begin between the ages of 20 to 25 years old. An earlier onset in life is associated with a worse prognosis. Interest in functioning in the assessment of patients with bipolar disorder is growing, with an emphasis on specific domains such as work, education, social life, family cognition. Around 1/4 to 1/3 of people with bipolar disorder have financial, social, work-related problems due to the illness. Bipolar disorder is among the top 20 causes of disability worldwide and leads to substantial costs for society. Due to lifestyle choices and the side effects of medications, the risk of death from natural causes, such as coronary heart disease in people with bipolar disorder, is twice that of the general population. Signs and symptoms. Late adolescence and early adulthood are peak years for the onset of bipolar disorder. The condition is characterized by intermittent episodes of mania and/or depression with an absence of symptoms in between. During these episodes, people with bipolar disorder exhibit disruptions in normal mood, psychomotor activity, the level of physical activity that is influenced by mood, e.g., constant fidgeting during mania, or slowed movements during depression, circadian rhythm, and cognition. Mania can be present with varying levels of mood disturbance, ranging from euphoria, which is associated with classic mania, to dysphoria and irritability. Psychotic symptoms such as delusions or hallucinations may occur in both manic and depressive episodes. Their content and nature are consistent with the person's prevailing mood. According to the DSM-5 criteria, mania is distinguished from hypomania by the duration. Hypomania is present if elevated mood symptoms persist for at least 4 consecutive days, while mania is present if such symptoms persist for more than a week. Unlike mania, hypomania is not always associated with impaired functioning. Biological mechanisms responsible for switching from a manic or a hypomanic episode to a depressive episode, or vice versa, remain poorly understood. Manic episodes, also known as a manic episode, mania, is a distinct period of at least 1 week of elevated or irritable mood, which can range from euphoria to delirium. The core symptom of mania involves an increase in energy of psychomotor activity. Mania can also present with increased self-esteem or grandiosity, racing thoughts, pressured speech that is difficult to interrupt, decreased need for sleep, disinhibited social behavior, increased goal-oriented activities, and impaired judgment, which can lead to an exhibition of behaviors characterized as impulsive or high risk, such as hypersexuality or excessive spending. To fit the definition of manic episode, these behaviors must impair the individual's ability to socialize or work. If untreated, a manic episode usually lasts 3 to 6 months. In severe manic episodes, a person can experience psychotic symptoms where thought content is affected along with mood. They feel unstoppable, or as if they have a special relationship with God, a great mission to accomplish, or other grandiose or delusional ideas. This may lead to violent behavior, sometimes hospitalization in an inpatient psychiatric hospital. The severity of manic symptoms can be measured by rating scales such as the Young Mania Rating Scale, though questions remain about the reliability of these scales. The onset of a manic or depressive episode is often foreshadowed by sleep disturbance, substance use disorder development over years as a form of self-medication. Hypomanic episodes. Hypomania is the milder form of mania, defined as at least 4 days of the same criteria as mania, but which does not cause a significant decrease in the individual's ability to socialize or work. Psychotic features such as delusions or hallucinations and does not require psychiatric hospitalization. Overall functioning may actually increase during episodes of hypomania and is thought to serve as a defense mechanism against depression. By some, hypomanic episodes rarely progress to full-blown manic episodes. Some people who experience hypomania show increased creativity, while others are irritable or demonstrate poor judgments. Hypomania may feel good to some individuals who experience it, though most people who experience hypomania state that the stress of the experience is very painful. Bipolar disorder who experience hypomania tend to forget the effects of their actions on those around them, even when family and friends recognize mood swings. And the individual will often deny that anything is wrong. If not accompanied by depressive episodes, hypomanic episodes are often not deemed problematic unless the mood changes are uncontrollable or volatile. Most commonly, symptoms continue for time periods from weeks to a few months. Depressive episodes. Symptoms of the depressive phase of bipolar disorder include persistent feelings of sadness, irritability or anger, loss of interest in previously enjoyed activities, excessive or inappropriate guilt, hopelessness, sleeping too much or not enough, changes in appetite or weight, fatigue, problems concentrating, self-loathing or feelings of worthlessness, and thoughts of death or suicide. Although the DSM-5 criteria for diagnosing unipolar and bipolar episodes are the same, some clinical features are more common in the latter, including increased sleep, sudden onset of resolution of symptoms, significant weight gain or loss, and the severe episodes of after childbirth. The earlier the age of onset, the more likely the first few episodes are to be depressive. For most people with bipolar types 1 and 2, the depressive episodes are much longer than the manic or hypomanic episodes. Since a diagnosis of bipolar disorder requires a manic or hypomanic episode. Many affected individuals are misdiagnosed as having major depression and incorrectly treated with prescribed antidepressants. Mixed affective episodes. In bipolar disorder, a mixed state. Is an episode during which symptoms of both mania and depression occur simultaneously. Individuals experiencing a mixed state may have manic symptoms such as grandiose thoughts, while simultaneously experiencing depressive symptoms such as excessive guilt or feeling suicidal. They are considered to have a higher risk of suicidal behaviors, as depressive emotions such as hopelessness are often paired with mood swings or difficulties with impulse control. Anxiety disorders occur more frequently as comorbidity in mixed bipolar episodes than in non-mixed bipolar depression or mania. Substance, including alcohol use, follows this trend, thereby appearing to depict bipolar symptoms as no more than a consequence of substance use. Comorbid conditions. People with bipolar disorder often have other coexisting psychiatric conditions, such as anxiety, present in about 71% of people with bipolar disorder, substance abuse, 56%, personality disorders, 36%, and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, 10 to 20%, which can lead to the burden of illness and worsen the prognosis. Certain medical conditions are more common in people with bipolar disorder as compared to the general population. This includes increases of metabolic syndrome present in 37% of people with bipolar disorder, migraine headaches 35%, obesity 21%, and type 2 diabetes 14%. This contributes to a risk of death that is 2 times higher in those with bipolar disorder as compared to the general population. Substance use disorder is a common comorbidity in bipolar disorder. The subject has been widely reviewed. The causes of bipolar disorder likely vary between individuals, and the exact mechanism underlying the disorder remains unclear. Genetic influences are believed to account for 73 to 93% of the risk of developing the disorder, indicating a strong hereditary component. The overall heritability of the bipolar spectrum has been estimated at 0.71%. Twin studies have been limited by relatively small sample sizes, but have indicated a substantial genetic contribution, as well as the environmental influence. For bipolar 1 disorder, the rate at which identical twins same genes will both have bipolar 1 disorder. Concordance is about 40% compared to about 5% in fraternal twins. A combination of bipolar 1, 2, and cyclothymia similarly produce rates of 42% and 11% identical and fraternal twins, respectively. The rates of bipolar 2 combinations with bipolar 1 are lower. Bipolar 2 at 23 and 17%, and bipolar 2 with cyclothymia at 33 and 14%, which may reflect relatively higher genetic heterogeneity. The cause of bipolar disorders overlaps with major depressive disorder when defining concordance as the co-twins having either bipolar disorder or major depression. Then the concordance rate rises to 67% in identical twins and 19% in fraternal twins. The relatively low concordance between fraternal twins brought up together suggests that shared family environmental effects are limited, although the ability to detect them has been limited by small sample sizes. Two pieces of liquorice left. Behavioral genetic studies have suggested that many chromosomal regions and candidate genes are related to bipolar disorder. Susceptibility, with each gene exerting a mild to moderate effect. The risk of bipolar disorder is nearly tenfold higher in first-degree relatives of those with bipolar disorder than in the general population. Similarly, the risk of major depressive disorder is 3 times higher in relatives of those with bipolar disorder than the general population. Although the first genetic linkage finding for mania was in 1969, linkage studies have been inconsistent. Findings point strongly to heterogeneity, with different genes implicated in different families. Robust and replicable genome-wide significant associations showed several common single nucleotide polymorphisms, SNPs, are associated with bipolar disorder, including variants within the genes CACNA1C, 0DZ4, or maybe it's ODZ4, and NCAN. The largest and most recent genome-wide association study failed to find any locus that exerts a large effect, reinforcing the idea that no single gene is responsible for bipolar disorder in most cases. Polymorphisms in BDNF, DRD4, DAO, and GPH1 have been frequently associated with bipolar disorder, and were initially associated in a meta-analysis, but this association disappeared after correction for multiple testing. On the other hand, two polymorphisms in TPH2 were identified as being associated with bipolar disorder. Last piece. Due to the inconsistent findings in a genome-wide association study, multiple studies have undertaken the approach of analyzing SNPs in biological pathways. Signaling pathways traditionally associated with bipolar disorder that have been supported by these studies include cortisotropin releasing hormones signaling cardiac, B adrenergic signaling, phospholipase T signaling, glutamate receptor signaling, cardiac hypertrophy signaling, WNP signaling, Notch signaling, and endothelin-1 signaling. Of the 16 genes identified in these pathways, we were found to be dysregulated in the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex portion of the brain. In post-mortem studies, CACN, A1C, GNG2, and ITPR2, bipolar disorder is associated with reduced expressions of specific DNA repair enzymes and increased levels of oxidative DNA damages. And I knew exactly what I was talking about during that last bit. Psych. I didn't know what all that was, but anyways, I hope you enjoyed this, and thanks for watching. Okay, bye.